Howdy folks, Tree Dog here. I just wanted to give you my introduction into metal detecting. Just throw out a couple pointers and some things that I've learned along my little few month escapade that I've started here. I think one of the reasons that I'm interested in it so much is because I primarily like to fish in my free time, and really it's a lot like fishing. I mean, you're going to get a bite when you get that tone, and then you dig it up and see what you caught. So I think that's kind of why it's took on to me, and I plan on doing some more and making some videos. So I just kind of want to show y'all where I'm at now, and if anybody's looking to get started or getting into it, maybe some of the pointers that I can give right now will tell you what you need to do to get involved, or if you even want to get involved, because there is some work to it. But let's start off looking at his little metal detector that I got started with, that little bounty hunter right there. I just started fiddling with it out in the yard, and it's going to give tones and tell you something's down there, and then you get to digging. There's not really any options or anything cool that go with it. You know, you just get to digging and see what you catch. So I started with that, then I upgraded. I went to Academy, and I bought the best metal detector that they had on display there, which isn't much after the research that I've done and got into it. But at least you can, take out the irons with this one if you want to, by adjusting some of the controls there. It cost me $200 for it, and the pinpointer and a bag and some other fuddy-duddy stuff that came with it. It's normally listed at $300. I got it for $200. So, of course, the one that I want primarily is going to be the Garrett AT Max, and the kit for that's about $725. So, one of these days when the wife lets me blow the money, maybe in my birthday in October, I can upgrade to that one. But for now, this one's keeping me busy and getting me out there, but you know, I'm sure I'm missing some deep targets, and this one also doesn't tell you how deep the target is, which would be very beneficial and helpful and probably save some time. And so hopefully one of these days I'll get the upgrade. But for now, at least y'all can see, what somebody can do with a primitive unit. So this is the little pinpointer that came with it. It doesn't really go far from the target either. I mean, you really got to dig around and pretty much be touching the metal item to be able to find it, but it sure is a lot better having it than not having it. So that's something that you're definitely going to need, because it really sucks digging without a pinpointer to find out where in the clump your item might be. Just while we're looking at this here, you can see I got the extra batteries. I just ended up putting those into a Ziploc bag. I just had them in the battery packs, but sometimes I leave this bucket laying outside or whatnot, and they might get wet and stuff, so I at least went ahead and put them in a Ziploc bag. That way I always got some extra batteries with me. The gloves, obviously, you don't want to get cut on cans or anything, so that's a good idea. I've watched a lot of videos, my share of them, and these guys got these nice little cases that they put their little unique finds in. Well, I found that a big Ziploc bag works just fine. Whatever I find that's worth keeping, hanging on to, I toss it in the Ziploc bag and toss it in the bucket. I carry this bucket around, which is basically a cat litter bucket with a handle on it. Keep my towel in it, all these items in it, and a little shovel. And of course, anything I dig up, like, old dirty cans or whatever, I toss them in there and then get rid of them at a later time. So, let's see what all right, here where we left off. In the short time I've been metal detecting, which I've probably put about maybe a good 25 hours in, I've probably filled that bucket up with just junk maybe 3 times. So you're going to be digging a lot of junk. If you haven't been doing this and you don't know, there's a lot of junk out there to be dug up. So it's not always a wonderful, great, exciting find, but it's part of it, I guess. Let me show you some of the items that I found. Of course, these are things that I just decided to keep. I keep them in that little metal container, and my 7-year-old likes to look at them, and we dig through there from time to time. But these are the things that I kept that I didn't just throw out and went to the dump. This first pile I got over here, this is basically when I first started out with the little bounty hunter that my son got for Christmas. Most of these items were found by that, and they were just found in the backyard where I was running around and looking to see what we got. You can see all the different kinds of nails and screws, and one of the reasons I kept those is I might need a nail or a screw sometime, and they can still be used. So I found a couple toy cars that were lost before we moved in here. A rabies vaccination dog tag from like 1999. It's pretty cool. That little thing right there is actually, I think it's like a pink flamingo head made out of metal, which is kind of weird. Bottle top. I don't know why I kept that, but it's there. These little tags right here were kind of interesting. I kept finding them in the backyard, and I'm thinking before this house was built, there was a nursery here. So it's pretty cool that, you know, I can get a little history from my backyard before the home was even built, just by finding some stuff in the ground. So, but this stuff over here, that little house key that I found, and all this change, with the exception of maybe 2 or 3 of these coins, were found in the backyard. The other ones have been found in a couple parks that are here in Middle Tennessee. That's one thing that this metal detector works pretty good for. You know, it's probably not the greatest thing for relic hunting, but as far as going to parks and looking for coins and stuff like that, and things that aren't real deep, yeah, that'll do the trick. And you, like I said, again, you can use the settings to fiddle with them. Yeah, I'm not going to get into turning it on and all that stuff now. We'll get to see that in some videos where I'm actually out detecting. So, but yeah, that's mainly my park finds. Were a couple different parks I went to, and then I've been just once or twice actually to some rivers that are here in Middle Tennessee, and walked the banks in them. And with the sharpshooter too, if you're right along the banks, a lot of times there's not much dirt or dust on top of the rocks. So, you know, areas where 100 years ago something might have sunk down 12 inches like in a field, that's not going to happen along the river edges, because a lot of times there's big boulders and rocks, and if you're scanning on top of those, there's only 2 or 3 inches of dirt on them, which, like this fork that I found, you know, my metal detector can get down and find that stuff, as opposed to in a field. If this thing's 12 inches deep, I might not be able to find it. So anyway, these are all little square nails that I found that were close to the rivers. A couple of modern day bullets, and some cow tags. I thought those were pretty cool. I was excited to find those. This fork is definitely a three-pronged fork, and it could have very well been from the Civil War days. I've done a little bit of research on it. Of course, it's completely wore out. There is a little hole here where it like had some kind of cover over the top of the forks and made them kind of nice or something. Who knows? This buckle right here, I think it's a little too thick to be anything that was on somebody's belt, so it's probably off a horse saddle, I would think. And these two little, they look like split shot sinkers to me, but that's the fisherman coming out at me. Some kind of little round bullets, maybe big shotgun pellets or something, I'm not sure. But just lastly, I want to point out that when you're metal detecting, make sure that you look on the ground too. I'm not sure how old this bottle is, but it was shaped kind of funny, so I just thought I'd keep it. And then we got the buckeye here, and then I found this marble right in the middle of the field. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Here's my knockoff GoPro that I got here. My dad just gave it to me. And that's what I'm gonna put that little chest plate on, and put that on there and go out and make some videos. So I just kind of wanted to show y'all where I was at right now. So I've done a little research. But in my opinion, if it's something you're going to get into, you might want to, you're definitely going to want to upgrade from what I have, unless you're just going to do parks and, you know, kill time and get some exercise. That'd be good for you too. But definitely be prepared to dig up a bunch of junk, because it is hard work. So, but anyway, I hope y'all like the video. Sorry, I'm not the greatest public speaker in the world, so make sure you get you a good little shovel. You'll have to have that. My little hand trowel is actually missing right now. I need to get another one of those to carry with me, but hopefully this gives you all some ideas. Another thing that I found that's pretty cool that I want to show you real quick is that was my first horseshoe, and of course I went ahead and hung that over my front door just because I thought that was cool. I found 2 or 3 more horseshoes. I always like finding those, and I've got them outside right now. But anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. And like I said, this is just a start for me, a new hobby. Gotten a little bit into it. Subscribe if you want to see some future videos. And also, if you're into fishing at all, I definitely plan on doing those videos. That's kind of my first love, but this is my secondary adventure. So, all right, take care, everybody. See you.